the CommVault buttons. Buttons, who got the buttons? All these kind of buttons you have here on CommVault. Okay, so these buttons here on CommVault are, let's go over them, right, shall we? So for instance, I'll just click on this one, for instance, right? So I'm going to show you what this comm cell does here. Well, let me go to another one. Let's go here. Click on client group, let's say, right? If you click on the comm cell button here, what happens is it gets you back to the point where it coincides with this button here. If you click on this, it's the same thing. For instance, I click on client computer groups. You click on the CommCell browser, the top there. That's the actual comm server. Just click on it. What you'll see is you're back to the point. So this button and just clicking on here is the same thing essentially. The other one is the next one to that is the job controller. For instance, we click on the job controller and we see that we don't have any active currently jobs running, but this is what would happen if you did have active jobs. You would see it here. If you just click on it lower there, you go and click on show all jobs, you'll both see active and failed jobs exactly. Although I'm not quite sure about that, but I think that's how it works basically. To the right of that, you have your event viewer. Event viewer is really important when you're troubleshooting something, or if you want to find out information about your CommServe. What's it doing right now? So you click on the event viewer, and it's going to tell you what's going on. What's the latest job that's run? What did it do? Did it fail? Just really nice information about it. So for instance, we click on the severity, rather we just click on this job, for instance, right? Double click on it. It's going to tell us some information about that. Like for instance, we know this is offline because, well, I've turned off that VM. That's why this is not working. So this is why that's happening. This will tell you about if you have a job that is you've reset or you restarted a service in one of the media agents of the clients. It'll pull up here. It'll tell you, for instance, here about a job that's completed successfully, which we have done recently. So that's the event viewer. Let me close this out here, this event viewer, so we have a little more screen. And close this one out. Close that one out. Next we have the alert show or alerts. What's cool about this is that, for instance, you have a job that's run. For instance, let's just click it out here. So these are all the canned alerts that CommVault gives you. But if you wanted to add your own, for instance, let's just add our own. Actually, let's just click here. Well, let's just add one, right? Basically. So you're gonna add it, and you can name it whatever you want. For instance, CommVault test. We're going to do it as a job. Different categories you have. When you click on it, it'll change these little features here. We'll just click through them. The media device status. Let's do that one. So we got configuration, job management, configuration of all these clients here. You have the job management, which tells you information, displays information regarding some of these. For instance, we might do data aging on job management, and yeah, let's just click it. Media management, operation, so it's telling you the failover, the event viewer status or events, the software update, if we've recently done anything to the software, uploaded or downloaded software, the custom rules, which are SLA health check, backup exceeds certain amount of gigabyte space, and let's just choose one. For instance, let's go job management. No, let's go media management rather, right? And we'll go device status. How about that? Click on device status. Okay, and so CommVault test, and we'll go entry selection. We'll click on that number 2. So let's choose CommVault Lab. That's the library. and we'll go threshold notification. I want to know the alert criteria is if it drive went on offline, the library went offline, or the mount path went offline. And number 4, notification type selection. This is kind of nice. So if you wanted to get an email, for instance, you would select this, select email notification, and you put in the subject line whatever you put in there, whatever you want to put in there. And some of them have canned things you can put in there. You can choose different languages, French. We're not gonna do that because I'm not sure if it'll change everything how it looks, and I don't know how to speak or read and write French, so we're not going to do that. But default messages and tokens are changed. So you know what? Let's just do it. Why not? Let's just click OK. It's kind of nice, actually. Never thought about that one. Let's click another one. Let's go German. Yeah, that's nice. So like a nice email, in their language, in German or French. What else we got here? Italian. We got Japanese. Oh, that's nice. We have Korean. Let's see. Korean. Okay. What else we got? Korean, Portuguese, Russian. Okay. Oh, that's nice. Never even. So I guess you could teach yourself these languages if if you had an email, you would know what that means or what it looks like. Okay, I guess that's it. I guess some of the other languages. Oh, Chinese. Let's do that one. Chinese simplified. That's nice. Okay, cool. So now, yeah, as you can see, let's see. Oh, that's kind of nice. Event viewer. Let's go back to email. Let's change it back to English here. And yeah, so these are the alerts. Now sometimes I know people have gotten emails before. You probably know what I'm talking about. You'll get an email from a company, and you're another company, let's say third party, and then your email doesn't allow pictures, basically. And yeah, so in that case, if you get an email and your company, will block it anyway. I mean, you know that. Just click on text, and what happened is it'll just email you in a text format. That's pretty much easier than doing it in um, HTML or whatever. Depends. Just again, it depends on your company what they have, or if you, I guess, if you get an email, if you block that type of stuff. So the other ones are event viewer, um, run command. You can save this alert somewhere. You can have RSS feeds. I haven't played around with this, but it sounds really cool. Where you can actually do. I guess what'll happen is you'll have an RSS feed set up here, and it'll like I guess like a Twitter basically, or some sort of like scrolling polling station or polling service, if you will, that the um, RSS feed will go into. That's pretty nice. Your console alerts, when you're logged in, you'll receive that. SCOM, so that's the SCOM, that's the one for Windows, and it's integrated with alerts. So, for instance, you're on a Windows SCOM, you'll see alert pop up. And then workflow, I haven't used workflow, but it sounds really cool. So back to email here. That's mostly common one people do use is to use the email. So let's click on number 5, which is token criteria. Select a token. So your different rule groups. This is a rule. These are like specific rules, basically, that you can define. So for instance, let's go select a token. Let's go CommCell name and equals, and it's a rule. So you probably only have one CommCell basically, but if you had like a drive name or an alert ID, alert name, like for instance, backup hasn't worked or something like that in CommVault, then you would put that in there. Severity type, you could put select the condition equals, and then you can come in here and put whatever you want in there, equals high or something like that, as it were. And then what will happen is you'll be able to you're just like, you're basically just doodling down those alerts. Don't send me everything, just send me when it's like there's a problem. Basically, this is what's going on here. That's essentially what's going on with this. And number 6, users and user groups. So what's happening here is notification receipts, that's who it's going to. Or going whoever you designate here. You can carbon copy anybody, basically. Let's carbon copy what, the admin, and carbon copy domain image. Why not? Oh well, wouldn't use blind carbon copy. I just use maybe, like, I wouldn't blind carbon copy that. I just take that off actually. Delete that. And then here, just put, yeah, you can just even start typing, and then it'll propagate to it. So it's going to come from the sender's name, which is a CommVault test, and then the address, which is the address it's coming from. Security, which is number 7. The security groups, like who, for instance, security, let's just click on add here. Okay, these are the security groups that people, that is coming from, essentially. Well, sorry, going to, if you will, actually is probably the better term. Okay, so then we have, well, let's actually just add one actually. Let's go right here. Let's go Linux user. Let's type that in, and okay, or add, and we'll push, select a rule, select roles. Oh, alert owner, let's do that one. And then create alert. Okay, that's fine, I'll leave that there like that. In your different domains you can choose. We only have one domain, but you could choose more. Click OK. And then now let's click on summary. This is going to tell us like what is going on here, right? Basically. So it's an alert from media management. The alert type is device status. I want to know if the drive went offline, online, or library went offline, the mount path went offline. You're going to email me immediate notification. Tell me right as soon as possible. The tokens are severity equals high, so tell me when it's high only, not when it's like low or whatever, right? And then the security user person, the alert owner, and then you can click finish. And we're just creating this test basically, right? So monitored nodes. Tells us we're monitored. Let's push finish, and you'll see it pop up here, if you will. Okay, you can see that it's CommVault test. Yeah, CommVault test. So we've created that. That's fantastic. Whenever my mouse wants to click it. Okay, good. You can disable it. You can add an alert. You can delete it, as you like. Okay, we're going to close this. Close that. And then we're going to click on, so you have these essentially the same thing, configure alert and console alerts. Console alerts. So console alert is, from the CommCell console. It's telling you about the alerts from that. So this is kind of nice. You can see the active alerts possibly going on. It's a way to, see it before. If it's like you don't have to run it, or you don't have to show it. You can just see it here. Okay, I see these alerts going on, and it'll tell you exactly what's going on. And then these are for the console essentially. So these are different alerts, like I said. So if we click on alert and configure alert, I think we went over that already actually, where we configure your own alert. Yeah, we sure did. Okay. Moving on. Now we're going to go to schedule. Let's close this out here. We're going to go to scheduler. If you're a CommVault admin, you're going to spend most of your time figuring this stuff out, because what happens is when you run a job, usually backups run every day, like they're incrementals, and then like on a Friday or a Saturday, they'll run a full. And as a CommVault admin, it's your job to just figure out, okay, what's the right time to run these? Typically, it's after hours, like after 6 local time. Backups will run when nobody's in the office typically, unless you're a 24 by 7. Then you have to work it around that way as well. And typically the fulls take a lot longer to run than your incrementals. Incrementals are just, for instance, you might run a full here, for instance, right on the 27th. Let's just say you run a full here, you run an incremental on Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then Friday you run another full. That is one. That's one cycle, or yeah, that's one cycle, right? Yeah, and then same thing here. You run incremental, okay, and then full here, and that's the second cycle. So what you'll see is you'll see like a job, for instance, will say like the schedule policy will say like, well, run a full, but on Friday, and then run incrementals, Sunday through Thursday, and then it's like 2 cycles, for instance, right? Or yeah, like 2 cycles. So what that means is you have 2 cycles means like I want to have at least 2 fulls available at all times, and that's what that means essentially, the cycles. So for instance, 2 cycles, for instance, on a Friday, you might have a full here, a full here, and a full here. And what happens is when it runs the incremental here, um, it will delete this, or it'll age off basically this full here, you know. And it depends on how long it is. If it's a month or 2 weeks, right? That's the length of time it'll hold that for. And so the cycle is just always holding at least the amount, two or however many, have it at all times. Yeah, what'll happen also is this: the full, you have what synthetic full, right? So synthetic full and full. Synthetic full will reference the full here. You'll have, for instance, synthetic full. You run a full the first time, you know, and then the second time I run a synthetic full, like on, let's say it's a full here, full, yeah, a full, right? The 27th, and then on the third, let's say, to run a synthetic full. And what it means is it has to know this full, so you can't delete that basically. And the problem with that is if you go so long without a full, because you keep pointing back to the full before, right? Because basically it's like this: synthetic fulls here is going to point back to here, essentially, for synthetic full. I may be wrong in that, but I think that's how it works. And then, so what you'll have is an error a lot of times where the synthetic full can't find the full, and then it errors out. So what you have to end up going doing is just running a full, and then start the cycle or start it over basically. And you won't lose any of this, but it won't work sometimes. I've seen that in the field before with especially with VMs. The other thing you'll see here, you can sort by media type. You can sort by alert type. We don't have anything set, obviously, so you're not going to see much here. You have your schedule name. We'll get into that when we create schedules. Data aging. You'll see what, of course, it's data aging, most of it. And this gives you a good idea to sort by anything. And just imagine, this is probably the thing that you want to have as a CommVault admin. You want to have this printed out, basically, on a big sheet of paper, big whiteboard, or even write it out yourself. Write out every single job that you see, and then put an hour by it. For instance, there's 168 hours, right, in a week. So every single hour of the day, of per week, let's say 168 times 4, write it out on a piece of paper or a big sheet of paper, and actually physically, because when you're designing this as a CommVault admin, or if you're just managing it, right, you visually want to see it in front of you, so maybe, because maybe, for instance, you're running a full on Friday, and it's like, say, an Oracle database full, right, or whatever. It's RMAN. What is it? RMAN backup? Yeah, RMAN backup. And then you're also running a SQL backup as well, or you're also running file agent, or gosh, a number of things are running on Friday, and you know, you could be bogging down the network, or they could delay. So it might be better off to just run that full on ARM end, let's say on Saturday, because those sequels take a long time. Let's just say in your environment, however many there are. And so that's how you play that out. By the way, that's the benefit of this. So yeah, also the benefit is when you're planning, you can tell the management or I rather leadership, if you will, that these are the times I'm backing up. I have a window of this many minutes, right? Let's say maybe they want you in a one-off, for instance, and you say, well, I can do it on Thursday because I don't have many backups running, and I know these things take X amount of time, so I'll just schedule a backup at that time. You know, so that's basically the scheduler. It's very nice. This is like I said, this is the most important probably, other than managing it. Just being able to visualize and see what it's about. If you click on details here, you'll get details about that day, right? What it's doing that exact day. Per day, I'm doing X, Y, Z. If you click on, for instance, you double click on it, you're going to see that actual what it's doing. For instance, it's doing a daily full. It's a start time. It's every day, every day. It's, let's see, general. What's it doing? It's doing a full every single day. What is it doing? Okay, history DB in the WFE engine. The client selection. There's nothing selected. It's just a DR backup. But if you had one, you would just click on the actual what is going to be backing up. So yeah, let's cancel this. Next thing, so let's just close this out real quick here. Let's close that. So now we're going to go into licensing and registration. This is probably the second most important thing. When it comes time to renew your license from CommVault, this is what you want to take a look at. For instance, let's say you buy from CommVault, I don't know, a 10 media agent license, and unlimited clients or whatever. Well, those media agents, I think they're like $2,000, something like that. I forget what they are, but they're like $2,000 or whatever. So you could be saving some money. Say that you only have like 5 media agents, and you don't need, for your environment, let's say, you don't need more. You need, okay, 5's good. Maybe you want to save, get one more, right? Let's just say. So you can save 4. You have a need for 6 in the future, but you don't need 4. So you can go back to CommVault for the next year, whatever the license agreement is, and say, well, based on my usage, I don't need any more other than 6. And you can just, they'll send you a new license, and it'll have, those less media agents, and of course the money will be also a factor, meaning you'll get a discount in your license agreement. So this will tell you basically your console ID, your edition. You'll be a full, of course. This is evaluation. The serial number, the console ID, IP address, if you will, the registration code, and the license IP. Sometimes you might see this for some customers. They'll just put this at 255, 255, 255, 255. I mean, you can use any address. The registration, you can register online. We've already registered it. If you want to order the license, you can, if you want to send an email to another computer, you can export your product information, attach the file to your email. So now we click on the capacity. This is how many we can use, basically. This is what tells us, okay, we can use X, Y, Z. And this is a nice little feature here. It says how capacity is calculated. It's going to send you, it's going to prompt you to a URL. It's a good explanation of how capacity is calculated for capacity license, the different types of licenses that they have. It's a very nice thing to look at. Okay. Next thing is usage. So you got capacity, meaning I can use this, and the usage. What are you actually using, right? Um, Now legend is, you've used X amount, right? And we're not using any really right now. Oh, other than appliance storage, yeah. So I'm using 77% of my whatever. What is this appliance store? So 100% probably, yeah, probably. What am I using? I don't even know if I'm using that much, but at any rate. Um, so then you have your license. So yeah, the following cows are not applied: dedupe, active store capacity, mailbox, and appliance store usage. So the other one is license details. This one is the one I was talking about earlier, where you can, for instance, let's say media agents. I talked that. I said media agents, right? So we'll go to media agents and evaluation used, evaluation total. So if I'm, if you're a, your value, you're using it for, real world, and you have 10 here, or let's say, for instance, you have 100, and you're only using six, you can go back to them and say, hey, I'm not using that many, or, just can we get a rebate? And they'll cut it down. They'll cut the price down for you. I've seen it happen. I've actually requested it myself, where they came back and said, okay, you're right. Of course, and they cut the price down, meaning they just sent the company I worked for a bill saying, okay, it's less this much now because of what you don't need, and that goes for the amount of space. That goes for, you know, pretty much anything in here, really. Anything you see in here that if you're not using it as a company, you can just cut those licenses down and you can save your company money. From say 200,000. I've seen some licenses for 200,000 for a year, and I've seen some for $64,000 a year, roughly, and that's pretty good difference. And they have different tiers of licensing as well that they push on their website. Okay, let's click on apply license here. So this is the cool part here. So when CommVault gives you a license, and they update your license, they update your IP address or whatever it is that they update for the license, they're going to email you a license file. And then here's where you go in and you update that license. So it's going to be like an XML file, I believe. So you would click on browse, and it's an XML file. So it's looking for that XML file to actually change the license. So they're going to email it to you, send it to you, whatever. You click on browse, you click on apply, and then you're instantly going to see a change here. That's how that works. Yeah. The other one is to convert. So if you want to convert some of your licenses from a evaluation to a real deal production, you would click this here and you would convert those different licenses. So let's click it real quick, convert. And then these are the convert light items to active license. And there's nothing available shown, right? So there's nothing for us to see. So, but in normal times, you would just see, I want to convert this license to an active license from evaluation to active. And then let's click on license summary. So license summary is a nice, HTML representation basically of what you have going on in your license. Same thing, the date that it was installed. Basically, this is probably the image that I downloaded. That's the date they pushed it out. Product license to whoever. This is a pilot license. That's interesting. OEM is CommVault. The activation key, the evaluation day is 60 days evaluation. CommVault bundle, what they give you, permanent evaluation, and their SKU number, or SKU number, yeah, SKU number. So yeah, that's kind of nice. You save it. You can save it as a HTML or whatnot. So that's kind of nice. So let's close this. That's the license and registration portion. We're going to skip the control panel. I'm going to come back to it. We're going to just go over a new client because there's a lot of stuff in that. We're going to just click on what's new. what's new. When you click on this, it's going to pull up some stuff here. And if you're not on the internet, of course, I don't think this will work because your comm server is not on the internet, it won't work. Okay, so what's new? Here is what's new. So what's new about 11.0? We'll click on that, and it can tell you, what's new. You can click on archiving. You can click on backup agents, and these are just little links. You click on, it'll tell you information about what that is. A little nice little nugget of information that they provide to you as a CommVault person. That's kind of nice. What's new with CommVault? And then let's click on getting started. So getting started, you probably have seen this before. Getting started is pretty much the first thing you'll see when you open or when you install CommVault. You'll see this very thing. When you first install it, I think you remember when we first installed it, or maybe that's a later video. You'll see that you have all these initial steps: initialize comm server configuration, configure storage, create policies, create alert or configure alerts. It's just kind of like hey, here's what you can do with this thing. This little nuggets information that you can do on how to do it. Job monitoring, job history reports, virtualization. Pretty nice. We're going to skip the web console, admin console, and then these three metrics here: health, status. And we're going to come back to them later. That's all. Because they take a while to load. That's why. So we're going to click on tools, and we're going to go to add remove software. And we've already done some of this. Well, I think this is before I do the install. So yeah. So if you wanted to install like a service pack and hot fixes, let's click on that. Let's just go through them real quick. This is going to let you install service pack updates on your certain products, your certain devices. You would just click here, let's say, right? And then you would push OK, and you would install service pack or hotfix on that said client. If you click on the install software, that's pretty nice. This is really nice. You can install pretty much anything, really. Next, either Windows or Unix operating system, like a media agent or a client or a Oracle file agent. Let's just click it through here. I'll show you what I'm talking about. Let's click one. So, okay, we're going to import from Active Directory, and you can see that you have the Active Directory, you have the Open LDAP or whatever, or you can do select from existing clients, which, let's see, for instance, the Windows server, the CommVault, right? Yeah, so the CommVault. Let's click OK there, and go next. And yeah, well, we have let's put in domain credentials. Okay, next. And these are the things you can install. This is what's cool about CommVault. Version 11, yeah. Version 10 didn't necessarily have this, but you know what? I don't know that I've ever actually used the add remove software feature on version 10. I've always done it the other way, where you just take the software and you actually install it from the actual client versus pushing it, which is the pushing product is way easier, because just imagine you have hundreds and hundreds of clients, and you just can push the product to them, not have to go to the box, log into the box, run the script or package. You just do it from here. Done. It's so much easier. So much easier. For instance, like Media Agent, and if you highlight on it, it'll tell you a little more about it. And then your search engine, index store, console, compliance search, file system core, the virtual server, the database 2, Oracle database, so it provides back and recovery of an Oracle database, objects in an Oracle client, SQL Server, SAP for Oracle, SAP for MaxDB, Sybase, MySQL applications like AD, Exchange, um, Exchange offline mining tool. I've never actually used that before. Domino Mailbox Archiver. Never used that. Oh, OWA. That's nice. I think that's Office. What is it? Office. I think that's a Microsoft product, I believe. Anyway, SharePoint. I've used that. That's a nice tool, actually. And then VPN Access. Hmm. Okay, so let's click on one of these actually. Let's do VPN Access. Then we'll click Next. We'll put it in a Windows group. We're going to add that. Next. And we're just going to leave everything default. Leave it default. Run the job. And I'm going to run this. I'm just going to show you, the user, the client, the customer, if you will, how this works. Any rate, the selection, Windows, the installer, the install flags. Sometimes for instance, you may tell it like to reboot, or you may tell it not to reboot. Sometimes, do you need to disable the firewall? Do you restart the services, like on well, in this case it's Oracle DB. CommVault Media Library Protection? No. Skip the clients is already part of the CommSub component? No. Install for agents of restore only. For instance, why would you do install agents for restore only? You got an agent, it's an old server, right? And it's out there, and you still need it. It's still on your network, and it's got data. It's aged. It's got old data on it, but you still need it. You still need it out there in case you need to restore to it. You wouldn't necessarily back it up. You restore to it, to that device. What else? Oh gosh, firewall, right? Enable the firewall or not. If you need a proxy, any port numbers you want to specify, the override software cache, the type of OS that you're installing or that it's going to be installed on. What are you actually doing? The component. And consume license, yes. So every time you do this, it consumes a license in that regard. And that's just one less license you have available to you. So the good thing is you can uninstall stuff, it'll give the license back to you. And then finally the client name. What is the client name? So that's the installer portion of it. Next we're going to click on the upgrade software. Notice this is sort of similar to the other one, which is the service pack fixes and all that. You notice it's very similar to that, right? So these are the clients you can upgrade when you have the ability to upgrade. We're not upgrading right now, but you can if you want to. That's the upgrade option, and we're going to click on the uninstall software. So if you wanted to uninstall multiple clients, right? For instance, we're not going to do this, but if you wanted to uninstall a lot of them, or you wanted to uninstall, just like let's say you want to install just a component of the Linux media agent. You want to just uninstall file system for any reason. You would click on the actual client, you go to uninstall software, and you click on the file system. Yeah, that's not sure why that did it, but let's see. You would click on the file system itself, file system core. It would uninstall, and then you can just uncheck certain things. That's unique why it didn't let me do that. I'm not sure why that worked that way. Oh, I know why. Because it's not a Windows box. I'm clicking on Windows, and it actually should be a Unix box, actually. File system core, so uncheck that. That's a unique one right there. I wonder why that is the case. Let's uncheck that. At any rate, that's how that works. The uninstall portion. Cancel that. Then you got the download software. So this one's kind of unique, right? You're going to be downloading this from the actual CommVault itself, right? Whatever your it goes out to the internet and it gets the service packs, license, whatnot, and you can do latest hot fix for certain service packs. You can do service pack hot fixes. You can do advanced and go. Only give me, updates for Unix and Linux. Okay, give me that. And start it up at a certain time. Job retries so many times. Add an alert to it where you're going to tell me, okay, send me an email if it worked or not. That's what the alerts are. And then, yeah, so that's the download and sync cache options for the CommVault. It's kind of a nice tool actually. It saves a lot of time actually. You don't have to go to the website and do it yourself. It's a very nice feature. And then we have copy software. So you're copying the software from another location basically. So you're going to pull it in. You're pulling it in to the CommServe from another location. Say, for instance, you might have like a media agent license somewhere else, or no, that's not a good example actually. Like an Oracle software for installation, right? And you can just pull it in. You don't have to just download it. Okay, and we'll click on options. And you're copying, syncing. Basically, you're syncing to the CommServe. So again, Oracle agent, you would just that's what you would use it for, or whatever. Really, can be anything. Really, can be SQL agent, source, SharePoint, Active Directory, whatever. You're just going out to a location and getting that software. Why would you use this? If your CommServe was ever on a private network and you needed to get that software, and you're for whatever reason it could access you, like for instance, let's say you plug in a D drive or you attach a NAS or like a hard drive, right, to your CommServe, and that has a software on it. Well, you could use this tool to actually pull that information into your CommServe itself. That's what this is for, actually. Well, what I think it is serves a purpose. And then finally, the software cache configuration. This one's very, very interesting feature. This is this you could say this is like a repository or a location where the software is held. You could say that, and software cache. So you would go in and just click find it or specify a location. You would click on cache details, and you can get updates for releases 9 or 10 or whatever, right? 11 in our case. And then you could delete the cache contents. You could commit the cache. When you commit the cache, yeah, it commits the cache to use in the CommServe. So remote software cache basically is it's at another location, wherever you deem it at to be, and another server, in another file share, whatever, right? And it's the same kind of principle as you're having your update software somewhere other than your CommServe. So for any reason, if your CommServe goes away, not likely because you can recover the CommServe really. But if it did, well, you're less concerned with your software cache then, and more concerned about your CommServe um, uh, database. But at any rate, you can do a software cache in a remote location, and then you can exclude machines from being updated. Sometimes you might see that in like a Unix machine, a Unix client, like Solaris. Sometimes I've seen where they're not upgraded for any reason to the latest service pack. It's just one of those things sometimes. Okay, we're going to close this, cancel that. Now we'll click on user preferences. Yeah, preferences. Anyway, click on user preferences, And you know, I'm a user. This is what I see as in the CommServe, right? So I can click on this, and I can have a job controller that has failed or killed or whatever. I can change it to say 600 seconds, 900 seconds. Keep it there for 900 seconds after it's killed. That's roughly what, 10 minutes, 12 minutes, 13 minutes, something like that. Just keep it there for that long so I can see it. And you can just as you like, right? And the event viewer, only show me, you know, only show me critical. You can do that. I only want to see critical. The client computer filter, show me everything. Show me virtual machines. Show me the server clients. Show me case manager clients. Show me share archiver. Show me every single thing. And you're going to see it sometimes on the right hand side here, or rather left hand side here. Client computer group filer filter, sorry. Show me the file share archiver without any agent license. Show me that. The media agent filter, and then the date time format. You can have the time zone, can be the current time, CommServe time zone. You can use a specific time. That's for down here when you see like jobs and all that, or events. You can use you can define the time you want. You can define it in however you want to. See how that changes right there when you clicked on that? See, notice short date will change um, to reference what you've done. So for instance, maybe you read it better at a certain time, or rather read it better, um, or it's easier to read for you, so to speak. That's how you can change it to your liking, and that's user preferences actually. So it's very nice tool. I clicked and cancel, so none of that stuff took place or made changes. Next, click on storage. Let's click on storage. Let's find out about that. And you're going to see expert storage configuration. You're going to pull up, you're going to have a select a media agent. So we're going to select media agent 01 for the Windows media agent. Click on add. And then it's going to say, okay, please configure storage devices on the new media agent. This is the same thing as you're adding a storage device to it. We don't have our storage set up. Well, it's set up, but it's just offline. It's turned off basically. It's a open filer device. So we're not going to see anything essentially here. So let's click on, so you got libraries. That's our current libraries. You have data paths, and you have the shared disk device. So if we click on, let's say start, and we'll go, let's see, volume explorer, disks. Let's go click on libraries, right? Let's do that. Let's start, and we'll go detect configure devices. And it's going to detect the NDMP device, if there's any, or the iSCSI devices. Let's just click that. Oh, so the exhaustive detect only, that is like, I'm searching everything. Go for it. Knock yourself out. Yeah, it's going to unload some drivers and select media agents that may interfere with current backups. We're not having backups, so it's fine. Click on yes there. Okay, so it's pretty nice. It literally goes through and says, I'm looking for all your libraries. What do you got? Show me. Of course, it didn't find anything. Let's see, it found auto detection, right? Detection failed, communication with media agent. Please check the okay. Well, obviously I don't have any libraries that are turned on, so that stands as a reason why that worked like that. But if you did, it'd be in here. Yeah, no devices were detected. Okay, so that's what that does. Then the media agent, or rather media management, excuse me. Click on that, and let's just bring it up a little bit here. Let's just make it bigger. So service configuration. For instance, there's a good tutorial on CommVault's website actually that goes over in detail really. For instance, Allow changes to data. The default is 0. So basically, if you were to, let's go back over to it actually. And if you double click on this, you can change it to 1 or 0. It shouldn't take 2 as a reference here. Should only be 0 or 1. 2 probably won't. Oh, didn't take 2. Doesn't like 2. It likes 1. 1, no problem. 1. Yep, 1 or 0. And that's kind of like an on or off, basically. And for this one, the service configuration, meaning I'm able to change things about the comm server, how it works. Allow changes to data path configuration. So if you're running a job, you're able to actually save the storage policy configuration, meaning you're able to change it to paths while it's running. So the default obviously is 0, and the change value is 1, and that's just a lot of different little tips and tricks and little settings you can use on that. And then about data aging, you're allowing pruning of jobs from all copies. You're considering, I'm sorry, inactive copies of, these are just different settings you can choose. You can just go down and say, okay, what do I want to choose? What do I want to change? It's very nice. Same thing with aux copy. Aux copy, allow aux copy for deduplication database backup jobs. Same thing for silo. So you might be asking yourself, what's a silo? What does that mean? I have no idea, right? And a silo is this. You have deduplicated data that's been copied to a file storage system. File system, open filer, whatever it is, right? So what happens is you're able to take that data and copy it to another location as being deduped. It doesn't have to, what do they call the word? Not expand, but it doesn't have to undedupe. That's not the right word, but that's the word I'm thinking of on the top of my head right now. It doesn't have to do that to move the data. So it can move deduplicated data to another location. For instance, just imagine you have you have two. Gosh, you have well, let's see here. You would have, say at your site, you have storage, right? You have 1 petabyte or whatever it is, right? And it's all deduplicated data. Maybe using a reality of 3 terabyte, right? But you want to go ahead and you want to copy that data to like what do they call it? They call them a warm site or a cold site. No, they call them warm sites. It's like it's a secondary location that your data resides on. It's like, the cloud. Amazon has the cloud. Well, they have multiple locations around the world. All their data moves back and forth or copies to the other location. Google does the same thing. So this is kind of the same thing. You're just taking your backup data and you're just copying it as a dedupe file to another location without having to do anything else. And that's silo is what that stands for this regard. And you're just changing some of the settings about it. So the next one is Vault Tracker. Vault Tracker has mostly to do with tape libraries. So you might have a tape library. Quantum has a tape library. What else? Who else? Oracle Storage Tech has a tape library. A couple other ones that can't think top of my head what they are right now. Next one is Resource Manager. So let's find one that's relative here. Disk. Yeah, here we go. Disk volume, physical size, high watermark. 25 gig. I don't know, you have, say, I don't know, 100 gig hard drive, 100 gig, tape, or 100 gig library, disk library. And your high watermark is if it goes to 25 gig, hey, warning, basically. And you can disable that by pushing 0. Don't tell me about the high watermark. High watermark meaning, hey, you're reaching up to a point where you're gonna get full. What's going on? The next thing is the CommCell migration. So one on here would be, yeah, here we go. Do not export user credentials for libraries. For instance, and you can just highlight over it and it'll tell you what it does, but you have a CommCell migration, meaning you're migrating, you're moving your CommCell, your CommServe essentially, to another server, whatever that is. Maybe it's a beefier server, right? I've seen that before. Maybe it's a newer hardware. You're going from a Dell to a HP. Why would you do that? But let's just say, at any rate, you're doing that. Maybe you're going from a Dell to a Hive server, recommended. That's what a lot of the high-end, that's what the big people use, by the way. Hive, Hyve. That's the kind of servers they use. They don't use these Dell stuff. The big data centers out there, the ones that like make a bunch of money, right? They have, it's called like open compute or open, what is it called? Open server or open compute, something like that, where it's a server, but doesn't have all the stuff on it, right? It's just basically a board with just like if you open up a server and you just took out the motherboard and a couple of components, that's what it looks like, right? So it pops out, pops in, and that's what a lot of companies use, and that's made by Hive actually, so they're a pretty big brand. Anyway, but if you wanted to export, you don't want to export the credentials for the library. You would put that to, I believe it's 1. Let's see. Yep, you put the 1. Yeah, we scrub. Yep. So that's CommCell migration. And again, you only do this when you have to migrate CommCell, and that is a pain in itself to do. I believe that. So then there's deduplication. So this one here, configure a parameter to convert reconstruction of full automated on invalid due to backup jobs. Likely is you won't be setting this, but the CommCell probably will actually. So for instance, let's say the database crashes and needs to be rebuilt. Well, this most likely will change to 1. And then you have next one, Snap Mirror, or I'm sorry, not Snap Mirror, Snap Manager. Delete NetApp secondary vault. Yeah. So if you have NetApp or some sort of, well, NetApp in this case, you're backing up to, and because NetApp has their own snapshots, right? And it's like usually they have like a weekly, they have an hourly, and they have a monthly snapshot. And if you want to use this feature, let's see, delete NetApp secondary for aged members. Let's look at the value. So 0 would be 0, none, and 1 would be yes in that regard. Maximum number retries is snap operation, snap cleanup, intervals, minutes. Let's see here. So it should be either 0 or 1. Yeah, or there's no 2. Nope. Oh, there's a 2? No, there's no 2. So yeah, it's either on or off. What was it? Was it 1? I think it was 1. Pretty sure it was 1. Anyway, next one is chunk size. Chunky butt. Chunk size is just that. So usually it's 4 gig roughly, right? For instance, when you click on the actual, so when you do backups, either tape or you do it to a library, you're going to see the size. It's going to be like a folder, and it's going to say like, I want to say it does. I don't know if it says chunks. I don't think it says chunk, but I think it's something. I forget what it says, but at any rate, that will be usually like whatever you set here. For instance, if you said save these, it'll be 4 gig. That's the size of that actual folder, right? Or that file, if you will. And it uses that to actually, so that's like a data size that it saves to tape. And it's like, okay, I'm going to push, 4 gig at a time. Okay, that's a chunk. I'm going to push 4 gig at a time versus say like, it gathers up 4 gig worth of data in this case, and it'll send it out. Bam. Not obviously not at once because there of course is some transmission speed, that they have to work with. But 4 gig is like I'm gonna send it a chunk, 4 gig, bam, and then okay, I'm sending another 4 gig afterwards, and another 4 gig, another 4. So I'm collecting all this data. I'm gonna wait till it's 4 gig, and I'm gonna send it out. That's chunk size, really, and then you can set it to everything. You can set what you want, and there you see the defaults, right? Like 16 gig for a database. That stands to reason because those things are giant. SharePoint database, yeah, that's huge. SQL, yeah. Oracle, yeah, yeah. 16 gig, yeah, that's about right because they're just massive, massive things, right? The next one is the barcode patterning. Barcode patterns. You can use these to set up barcode patterns. Barcode pattern name. Let's see, CommVault or garlic. Let's see, garlic food. How about that? Garlic food, right? Begins with let's see, 12. Let's see, 10,001. Right? Ends it with 2001. Let's see, like right. And okay, garlic food, blah blah blah. Let's click OK. Okay, so that's our barcode pattern. That's for both. Yeah, so that's that's barcode. Yep. So this is. Let's click on OK. Let's just save that. Why not? Save those changes. Okay, so that's media management. Now we'll click on hardware maintenance. This has everything to do with, um, well, uh, looks like tapes mostly, really. Some sort of tape library, virtual cleaning. Not necessarily physical tapes, but this could be virtual tapes as well. But this is so media retirement. You're retiring this media. I think Altair or yeah, these right here, version 4. After read and write, 5,000, retire it. Number of uses, 260. Number of media, label errors, 5. So retiring that media. What that means is this: you might have where a job will, you're backing up the tape, right? And it's tried it so many times. It's okay, this isn't working. Bam. And so what happens is it retires that tape, so it doesn't keep trying it. And because what'll happen is the Comm will say, okay, I'm retiring that tape. You can go back and unretire it, right? But CommVault's like, it's enough. I've had enough errors. I'm done. I'm not going to keep reusing it. But you have to manually do that, right? You have to manually go in and unretire it, or not really. It's not really unretiring. It's more just like reuse it, basically. And then you have drive cleaning. So these are the types of you're cleaning the drive, if you will. I don't know if you've ever used the cassette tapes at home, or DVD cleaner, right? Same kind of concept with that. Your drive maintenance, um, same thing. After so many hours, this is what the maintenance should be done on this. Library maintenance, the actual library itself. This is what this is, or regards to, basically. Um, and the SCSI errors translator. So this is kind of nice, yeah. And then finally the Windows error translator. So again, this is all hardware tape library stuff. Cancel that. So let's go to array management now. You would see in here, you would see like NetApp. You would see it in here actually. or a tape library, a NAS, if you will, you would see it here. Let's click on Add, actually. So you have your different snap vendors, right? You're going to have Amazon, CommVault, of course, they have their own deal there. Dell, EMC, Fujitsu, Hitachi, 3PAR, Hawaii. I didn't know they had that. That's nice. They're a good company too. NetApp, they're a good company too. Yeah, I've learned the value of those guys actually. Yeah. Um, Nimble Storage, Nutanix, Pure Storage, and Oracle, ZFS. Yeah, pretty good stuff. So let's just click on one. Let's click on Hawaii. I'm probably saying it wrong. Let's click on NetApp. And NetApp here. So, yeah, file system name, right? Array controller. Who's um, who's controlling it? I think. Is that right? Seems like it is. Yeah, seems like it would be. That's the case. Snap config. Oh, this is nice. Look at this. You just like click on it, highlight over it. It'll tell you what it does. That's kind of nice. Intervals. Yeah, that's kind of nice. Use tunneling. Hmm. Security. Who has security? Who can access it? Activity. Disable automatic cleanup snapshot. Snapshots are not pruned. Okay. This is nice. This is good stuff. Yeah. So yeah, these are basically just NDMP, right? Or CIFs. Yeah, you could use that, but mostly NDMP stuff, I believe. This is what this is. So, at any rate, very cool stuff. So that's array management. Next thing we're going to click on is the configuration. This is kind of nice. So you have your email and web server. So you're just configuring this stuff. This is all this is basically. Web server, your FTP server, um, authentication, yeah, web server, and FTP again. You have your SMP v3 configuration. You can add your host name, click on what type of algorithm you want to use, username, password, privacy, algorithm. Pretty nice. Yeah, good stuff. Audit Trail. Retain critical audits, or I guess in this case would be logs, right? Or events, I guess it would be. Let's see, Audit Trail. Yeah, I think that's right. Yeah. For 365 days, and retain how long it there. Again, these are configurations. So you have job management as well. This one's a kind of nice one, and then DR backup. But let's click on job management. So this is probably the one you're going to click on the most, truth be told. If you're an admin, CommVault admin, you're going to click on this. You're going to click on this like you want to make sure this is set, right? Okay, so for instance, job alive. You're going to keep it alive for how long? The job stream, the watermark, say there's 500 jobs. You're going to keep it, you can set it to 900. It's going to keep 900 jobs. You're going to be able to scroll down and see that many, right, at a time. Queuing jobs for conflicts, a couple other settings there, job priorities. This is kind of nice. 0 is the default, and is it 0? Yeah, I think 0 is the default, and it goes up to like, let's see, it'll probably tell us here, $9.99. Let's see. So, what's the default? 9. Okay, I think 0 is I think 0 might be the do it now, right? And then 9 is like, whenever, do as you like, right? As you like. that's how it works. Client, agent type. It's kind of nice. Yeah. Job restarts. Max restarts. This is another one you're going to want to click on if you're a CommVault admin, uh, because you're going to want to have to do this, right? So, for instance, probably the most likely one you're going to do, you're going to see a lot, is media refresh, and you're probably going to see a lot of SQL, yeah, SQL stuff. So max restarts, you put that puppy up to like 20 or 30, right? And lower the intervals as well, if you can. The other thing is, what's another one? File system. Data aging, I wouldn't worry about that one. Yeah, file system, data protection, or let's see another one. Lotus Notes, media refresh. I'd probably do any type of any type of database. I probably try to get max as many max restarts, and then incrementals or the intervals will be less, 5 minutes, 3 minutes, whatever. And then definitely for aux copy, you want to have a high amount of restarts, and then your intervals, I'd lower that down to like 3 minutes. Because what happens is you're running an aux copy, right? And you have to wait 20 minutes for that puppy to start again. And you want to fail fast. You want to be able to, okay, it goes through its, max restarts, 144, and just 3 minutes, bam, right? And then, you just, you want you want to just to keep restarting, right? You want to just keep go, 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 right? Yeah. So anyway, and then you have job updates, and then you have job stats on errors. Let's see, file system, error threshold, 100 count, 50%. What happens with this is this. Again, if you're a CommVault admin, you're going to be in this all the time. What'll happen is that job, if it fails, 100 times, right? It'll do complete with errors, right? So you just like, knock it up, make it more, right? So mark job is, you don't want to mark it complete with errors, because what happens is this. Let's say you have a file system and you're restoring, or you're backing up a file system, right? And it's 1,000 files, and you've backed up 900, right, or something like that, in that job. And then if it's if you have, well, better yet, actually, let's say there's 1,000 jobs there, or individual files, right, and 200 has failed, you know. So what happens is the number of failed files is more than 100%, or more than 100, excuse me, and percentage of failed files is more than such an amount, then go complete with errors. Well, the more likelihood, what you want to do is this. You want to probably put it at 90%. Number of failed files is more than 1,000, right? And percentage of failed files is more than 90%, or even 95% actually in that regard. Then complete with errors, because you want those to complete, or fail, but you don't want them to complete with errors. You know, you can do failed, right? Mark job as failed. That way you can retry it again, and because what'll happen is if you mark it complete with errors, a lot of times you won't see those errors unless you have an alert set up to actually say, okay, send me if it complete with errors. And just imagine you're an admin, right? And you have, I don't know, hundreds of servers, right? They're backing up, and there's a bunch of these, and you'll miss them too because it's not green. It's like a yellow. It's like a yellow color, right? And sometimes they won't even show up in your reports unless you like failed. It's not failed. It's complete with errors. So in CommVault's mind, oh, I've completed. I'm good. You know. So that's something to look forward to, or to look after when you're a CommVault admin in this regard. Yeah, I'm not gonna. I'm gonna leave it default, right? By the way. Error decision. So this is kind of nice. So error decision, enable all patterns, error code, right? And you're telling it decision rule. So all error codes, what are they? Or from value to value. So mark job as failed if it gets a certain error code, or job patterns. It's very nice stuff. Yeah. So that's job management. And then we have DR backup. This is your disaster recovery backup. Where you're going to put it at, where, yeah, how many are you gonna retain? In our case, we're just putting 5. You can put however many you want, but you can put 5. That means 5 full. That's 5 days worth of backups, basically, of the CommServe itself. It's not the CommServe. It's the database, right? I'll show you what it looks like actually. So I'm gonna browse to it, and it's DR, I think it was. Yeah. So this is the actual file, right? The actual file that CommVault's backing up or presenting to you. Probably a better representation would be to actually go to the actual system so I can show it to you. So that was C drive, and that was DR, and let's choose this one. Okay, so DR is this one right here, this guy. Excuse me, this guy right here actually. You see how large it is? It's 340 meg roughly, right? It's usual. That's common. I've seen up to like 5 gig before, right? For that one. And this is, I mean, these matter, right? But this is the one that's important the most. This guy, without him, you can't restore your data, your CommServe. And all it is just like your settings, your SQL, because it's SQL, right? Or MongoDB, but it's your settings for that, like your configurations, your CommServe name, your media agent name, your file agent name, and all that. And it's your metadata, data about data, basically about all of the data you're backing up. It has pointers on it, like meaning point to this file or whatever. So that's the most important thing right here. A lot of times what we see in the field is what they do is they back this thing up to like another location, a remote location, right? They'll back it up there. And on the remote location, they'll have another CommServe already built, but not stood up. It's like on the domain, right? And it's got an IP address, but it'll have the CommServe, but the services will be turned off, so it's not active. That way, you don't have two CommServes. And usually, what they do is they install it, but they turn off the services right after they do that. So yeah, that's kind of interesting right there. I'll tell you from my standpoint, the the very the best thing you can do for yourself if you're a CommVault admin is virtualize your CommServe. Just virtualize it. Don't wait. Don't mess around with that physical stuff, because it's just going to save you time, money, all the above, really. Because you're moving it. Say you want to get it beefier, right? You want it to be larger, beefier hardware, let's say, whatever, right? Just uh, just move it or vMotion it to another host, bigger host, right? And there you go. That's done. And it's a good thing because you never have to worry about increasing the size of the C drive or the D drive. If it gets full, guess what? If it's a VMware stuff, just give it another LUN, increase the LUN space. Too easy. So many different just way better. If you wanted to test your CommServe, for instance, right? You if it was a physical box, you'd have to P to V it, meaning you'd have to physical to virtualize it, put it in some VMware location or whatever on the vCenter or the host or whatever. If it's already a virtual machine, you can just clone it and send it over to, like, I don't know, your test bed or another host. Take that thing off the network and then break it, basically, or do whatever it is you want to do So it's essentially like a test bed or a lab for your people, because you can simulate everything else. I mean, you could stand up as many me agents as you want. It doesn't matter. I mean, me agents, like I said, um, they can go offline. It's no big deal. Those are not easy to set up, but that's not a really big problem, right, for you. If you have to set it up 3 or 4 times, whoop-de-doo, it's an hour long. But the comm server is the one that's the most important. Without this, again, you don't have anything. This has to be protected at all costs. So that's where that's at. The DR backup, most important part right there. If you're a CommVault admin, then pre-post process, do something against it, meaning it's a script to run against the if it's backing it up, right? Do that or do this. I haven't played with this pre-post thing. I've only done the export one before. So yeah, kind of nice. That's DR backup. Let's just move this up a little bit. Next is the troubleshooting steps, or sorry, troubleshooting settings. Shooting settings. Okay, here we go. Watch this. So some places they'll have a they'll have an environment, and they're not allowed to send logs for whatever reason. You know, it's a healthcare place or whatever it is, right? And they're not allowed to send logs to CommVault for whatever reason, right? And this is where you set that. You just turn everything off and it won't send logs to CommVault. And it doesn't do it automatically, um, but if you right click on a job that's failed, let's say, you can send it to CommVault. They'll send the logs to CommVault, and then they'll usually put a ticket in or whatever, right? And you know this is meant for like companies that are just like don't have a dedicated admin for CommVault. They say, I don't know, I paid a lot of money for a license and a lot of money for the maintenance package. Let CommVault just figure it out. That's their problem, right? So to speak, the easy button, if you will, right? So what happens is you set the FTP, so they just like shoot the logs there to CommVault, and they'll look at it and they'll, again, put a ticket in. So that's what troubleshooting settings are for this. Where the location is to the logs, you know, what the information is, what the default email is to send it to, send log time intervals. Yeah, that's basically right there. So, and then we have owner permissions. What can I do, right? I'm the owner, I'm the master, right? If you're logged in as master, you have everything. You have all permissions anyway, right? But if you want to give people, like you would do, is you would you would log in as master. You'd set permissions to somebody here or in their profile basically, and then you would give them permissions. That's what this is for. So the other thing is internet options. I don't know if you remember, but before there was a part where you download the cache or download um, the updates for the CommServe, the files and all that. Well, here's where the settings are right here. So you have the internet gateway, you have the download software, meaning I'm downloading software from CommVault, and this is where the settings are right here. A lot of times, what you'll see is if you're a site that doesn't go out to the internet, this is closed or whatever, they'll just don't have anything here, so they have to do it manually, that just takes a long time. But in our case, it's test environment, no worries. Downloadcenter.commvault.com, and it pulls all the service packs, right, the updates and all that from it, and that's kind of nice. If you have a proxy, you can put that information in here. And let's go to custom calendar. That's kind of nice. Yeah, so standard custom calendar. So for instance, let's click on edit. Where are you going to begin your month? January, February, whatnot. Double click on it, do little things, add different names with the calendar, make this calendar default. Yeah. Then you have operation window. Let's see here. Okay, so for instance, you would do test. Let's say test and test, right? Operations, full data management, add. Sunday, bam. Okay, what does this mean? So, what does it mean? It means operations, full data management, do not run days of the week and time intervals. Sunday, right? Com serve name, schedule policy. Don't run, um, do not run days of week, right? So you're not running, meaning you're not doing much on the com serve in this way. I'm not gonna leave that because we want to run this puppy every day, all day, you know. And then set holidays. Same thing, same kind of concept, you know, annual. Don't do anything on these days. I want to do annual Monday. Let's just say test again, right? Whatever. Okay. All right. Don't run anything. No scheduled tasks will be run on these dates, right? That's what that means. Don't recommend you doing that, and probably your company doesn't recommend you either. You probably only do that if you had like scheduled maintenance, a scheduled downtime. Then you would do that. But you'd be there, and if you're if you're not, you don't have a CommVault admin, or if you're just like another admin, you would set that in there, or whoever would set that in there for you. Now, let's click on reports. Reports. Oh, this is a nice one here. So we have the job summary. Okay, this is kind of nice, right? I mean, you probably will see this here. So job summary is just it's a report, right? Just like all the other ones here, reports as well. They have Audit Trail. They have Readiness, Readiness is, well, here's Audit Trail. This next one here. So I'll show you what that is actually. So Audit Trail just opens up the same thing. Yeah, you can see that. And then Readiness opens up the same thing, but it will, yeah, Readiness. And then you have Growth, which, see, I click on it, but it doesn't work. That's because it's in here somewhere. CommCell Growth. And then you have License Summary. I don't know that License Summary is in here. Oh, yeah, it is. Here it is. You have Other Reports, which would probably be under Jobs. Let's see here. Let's close this. Jobs. Really? Come on, no? Okay. Other Reports. Okay, here we go. So policies, schedule, user compatibility. So that would be probably, yeah, same thing. Okay, cool. Yep. So all these are basically under here as well. File authenticate, or what, file level analytics. I believe I saw one in there. It was about some user base. Let me click on that real quick. User compatibility, right? Okay, yeah, here it is. So all of these reports are in here, and let's just go over real quick. So trading, library, scratch pool, right? All these are, yeah, they're the same reports. And then let's click on view schedules, right? I wonder if that's a report as well. Oh, that's something different. Okay. So these are all the schedules that are actually, we don't have any, right? We don't have any schedules right now. Nothing scheduled, right? So let's go back to other reports. Let's click on just CommServe serve event, right? So let's go to the top, very top here. So you have the CommCell configuration. This is doing reports. Let me show you one simple that you'll understand, or you'll get after actually, right? So for instance, well, let's say license. Yeah, license summary. So I want to know license summary, capacity, and yeah, I'll just leave it. User capacity, see job schedule, library and drive, scratch pool, storage policy. Let's do this. Capacity based license output. You can either do it HTML, text, or PDF. So the thing about PDF is this: you have to send it somewhere if you're doing that. So meaning, I'm gonna have to put it somewhere. Report copy location. I don't have a repository, a C drive that I can throw it to. So that's not going to work out for me. So instead what I'm going to do is just HTML. If you wanted to also do this, if you wanted to email it to yourself, you could do PDF. You could do, I believe it's, might not be on this one here. Let's see, user event. Let's do this one. Event, output. Some of the reports will let you send it to a, oh, here you go. Schedule. Yeah. Well, let's do this. So license summary, general, output, PDF, and we'll do save as. Oh, location. Okay, I'll just do schedule. You need to enter a valid report copy location. Okay. Let's see here. I can't do it here. Let's go here. Schedule. Really? Okay. Here we go. Let's throw it here. Let's throw it anywhere. Why not? There we go. As you like. Okay. Schedule. Okay. Going to do a one-time, let's say. Whatever. Same thing. Output. Notification. Who am I going to send it to, right? And it's going to here we go. This is what it does. You can email people, right? Email at whatever.com. So that's what that is. So you can actually email reports to people. You can set it, you can save it, so save as is the one here, right? Whatever. Yep. So we're just going to do HTML. So we're not really concerned with it. HTML, okay, good. We're going to run it. Okay, I guess I need to do that again. We'll go run it. As a CommVault admin, you're going to be in this place as well. You're going to be setting up schedules for reports every day. The one you're probably going to do the most is this CommVault Readiness report. And when you see, notice I pushed run, right? Request for license summary has submitted. It's going to pull up an HTML file in this computer here when it does that. And it also puts it at a location as well. Let's see where it puts it at. C drive. Yeah, so it's under C drive, program files, CommVault content store, reports. So any report you have, I believe, will come here. Public downloads. No, that's not right. Oh yeah, here we go. Yep. Here we go. So it did do that. Yeah, gave me a. It's gonna probably show an yeah, it's HTML, right? So that's where all your reports are gonna go. If you wanted to do it, you wanted to see it again, you would just do it here. So yep, when it'll pop up probably and open up in HTML or Google Chrome here in a minute. Okay, we're gonna open it with Google Chrome, not this file, but the actual. So it ran, and I didn't have to click on this. It just automatically pops up with it. So here's what the report looks like. As you can see, it's very nice. License summary report. You know, this is something you can print out or PDF. It's really nice. Something that the manager, or should say leadership, actually, it's really nice. All that stuff. It tells them your backup capacity. It's just very nice graphical interface, or I guess a nice way to look at things, right? The other one that you're going to be running into, or you're going to be doing as an admin, as a CommVault admin, if you will, is the CommVault Readiness or CommCell Readiness. Usually, I ran this every day, like every single day I ran it, and I just looked at it because what you want to end up having to do is you don't want to have to manage CommVault, right? You don't want to have to go in and do it. You just want to see, oh, okay, what's going on, what's not working, what's working, versus check everything. And if it's working, don't just that's less thing I have to do as my job. So same thing, general, we'll go output, we'll go HTML, we'll go run, and it's gonna bring up a web page again, same kind of thing. And yep, so and we're just gonna wait for it to come about. So yeah, that's your readiness check, a daily readiness check that you can email yourself as well as a PDF or HTML or a text. Okay, so this is the CommCell Readiness Report. It's going to tell you what type of things are available, the scheduled clients, the number of offline clients, the media agents, the really, I mean, obviously, like, look, this, what is this here? This media agent Windows proxy. So Windows media agent 01, not ready, right? Communication between the drive pool, right? Library. Of course, the library is offline, right? So we know that. But that'll tell you that, like, oh, yeah, okay, well, hey guys, make sure your stuff's online, right? Your drive, library. So number offline clients are one's offline. Well, I know it's offline. The media agent because I turned it off. You know, it's a Windows box, and so yeah, I get that, right? It's trying to ping it, right? The library got two of them. One should be offline. It's not. Um, yeah. So anyway, yeah. So that's what you're gonna be doing every day, probably if you're a CommVault admin. Be doing this readiness check. You're gonna email it to yourself because you need to know what's going on. What's up with my CommServe? What's up with my information? My environment, if you will, right? So that's this bar here. That's under reports. Next one is we're going to do under view. View is like, this is kind of nice, right? So refresh, like you click refresh here, right? Refresh this tree here, right? Close all, maximize all. Let's go close all windows. Okay, it's going to close them all. Then you just, oh, CommSol browser. Close this. The little thing here closes it or makes it go away basically. Reset layout. Sets it back to default. Tile horizontally. Tiles it. Tile vertical. Right. Next window. See how it's moving through. Tasks. You can click on task and you can see your tasks there as well. Status bar. See the bottom. That's your status bar. Then you have your maximize all, right? Close all, maximize all. There's nothing. There's no more, right? Let's reset layout there. Okay. So that's the view, and then finally support. Not finally, actually. We got to go back and we got a couple more to click on, right? But for this one, we're going to go about. So this is going to tell you your CommCell ID, about all the little things that they like to talk about in the CommVault. Your details, you talk about your build number for your CommCell ID there. Check for updates. We're not going to click that because it's going to go out and check for updates, and I don't want to do that. Online help, the search support. Let's click on that. And obviously it's, yeah, but this, it probably will work. For whatever reason it's not working, but yeah. So anyway, that's you're going to search report and then submit feedback to CommVault about the product. and it's just going to go, right, you're going to log in, right, and submit your information and do some sort of um, information feedback, like, okay, CommServe, why don't you guys have this? Why don't you have this? Or, hey, I looked at this error and I saw this. Anything. They'll appreciate that actually a lot if you do that. So let's go back to tools. No, let's go back to home, right? And these three here we missed, we didn't catch yet, and then these two we didn't catch yet. Before we do that, let's click on Control Panel. So Control Panel is going to have a lot of the same stuff that we've already went over, but I'll just show it to you in